I'm a Londoner born and bred. 3 generations of my family have lived and worked alongside the Thames. And I want to show you how today it's even busier and a bigger part of our lives than ever.
Don't move! It's very difficult to interview you while I'm counting.
How many have you got in there now?
God knows.
My journey will take me to its furthest reaches, from the Cotswolds in the west, cool, some size quarry, isn't it? To where the river meets the sea in the east.
They're all laughing over that stuff. Keep a straight face. I'm doing my best.
I'll meet people whose working lives depend on the Thames and who feel as passionately about it as I do.
We love our Thames. We're so lucky.
Best job in the world, Tom. Well, apart from yours, obviously.
I'll go behind the scenes of its most iconic landmarks. Oh, wow. Bang! And discover its hidden gems.
They do look sci-fi, don't they?
This is the River Thames as you've never seen it before. Hectic, hard-working, breathtaking, awe-inspiring. I can't wait. To me, a trip down the Thames always feels a bit like time travel. I want to show how the river is vital to our heritage. Sometimes preserving traditional crafts and trades, sometimes reinventing them to keep pace with our modern lives. I'm beginning in Greenwich, where the Thames has given an iconic relic of London's maritime past a whole new lease of life.
Over there, just above the trees, you can see the masts of the 280-foot time capsule that's known as the Cutty Sark. She was once the fastest ship in her day, but since 1954, she's been nestled there, static, in dry dock.
Cutty Sark was the Ferrari of the late 1800s. She was built for speed, with a sleek, streamlined hull and vast sail area. And she set world records on the epic 13,500-mile route from Australia to London's thriving docks, just down the river from here. It took a crew of around 20 to maintain her on the high seas, and the work doesn't stop now she's on dry land. Keeping a gorgeous mid-19th century sailing ship like this in tip-top condition is a real labour of love. I bet when the ship first got here in the 1950s, they didn't do all this business. It just have been blokes running up and down ladders with fags in their mouths. But you're well tied up.
Certainly, Tony, all times.
Simon and his dedicated crew look after everything from the decking to the delicate gilt decorations on the bow and stern of the ship.
What's this you're doing?
Just monitoring the caulking around all this gilded scroll work. We did a conservation project about 2 years ago, where some elements had to be recarved because they'd become rotten. And then a gilder came in and applied 23.5 carat gold leaf.
It's like neon lights, really.
Yeah, when the sun hits it as well, it really kind of looks like it's on fire almost. You get a real kind of glow coming from it. Beautiful.
Is there anything I can do here?
It's quite a specialist job, but there's plenty of other things I can get you busy doing on deck, if you fancy it.
Yeah, have a go.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. The thing that strikes me more than anything else on this deck is the sheer size of it. I mean, it's like a cricket pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, 151 feet from stem to stern, 36 foot on the beam at the widest point.
How often do you scrub it?
Every morning we have the hoses out.
What else do you clean?
Everything, everything. Looking after the brightworks,
Well,
deck
but
houses.
hang on, Brightworks. What does Brightworks
any
mean?
varnished piece of timber
Anything
you see.
shiny.
So all the shiny teak you can see.
It's like painting the Forth Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a job that will never end and never be finished.
These days, all that gleaming woodwork has to withstand 250,000 visitors a year. No wonder it needs oiling. Probably the wear and tear on it now is worse than a whole year's worth of tropical storms.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
So can I have a go at trying to
certainly.
replace some of that tourist wear and tear?
Get some oil on.
When I was a kid and it came to London, it was virtually a wreck, really. You certainly would never have thought that it would ever be as elegant as this, and that 250,000 people a year would want to come and see it.
Cutty Sark first launched in 1869 to carry tea from China. But despite her cutting-edge spec, steamers using the newly opened Suez Canal were soon outpacing her. So Cutty Sark turned to the Australian wool run, where the trade winds gave her sails the edge.
Oh, Simon, this is fantastic. Hi.
This is a 1950s replica of the wheel that steered her to those record-breaking speeds.
It gets a lot of people touching it because it's such an iconic part of the ship.
Oh, what, visitors coming in and
their
standing there
photos
like
taken,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Like all of us when we get to 70, it's due some TLC.
How long have you been sanding this?
It's been about 3 weeks. Well, almost all by hand, because the nature of it is just a big collection of curved surfaces, and if you get a machine on most of those surfaces, it's going to start squaring them off.
Where does it hang when it's done?
It's attached to the steering gear, which is at the very stern of the ship. So go on here, so this bolt holds it in place, but it's a beautiful, simple piece of engineering.
The steering mechanism is a prime example of how cutting-edge the ship was 150 years ago. Its space-saving design maximised the cargo she could carry.
This would turn this screw, which would move these pistons, which in turn would angle this, and then this is connected down into the post of the rudder.
What it reminds me of is the fact that we're really on the cusp of shipbuilding here, aren't we? We've gone out of the old Georgian high-masted navy and we're moving towards this kind of thing.
Later, I see how Cutty Sark's iconic figurehead is being reborn upriver.
Oh, wow. That hits you full in the face, doesn't it?
And my visit goes with a bang.
Hey, that was a nice one.
When I see how the Thames is helping London clean up its act.
What a spring in my step that did.
The Thames connects us to our past. It's got a long tradition of doing the capital's dirty work. And I've come to Erith in South London, where that's still true today.
I love sites like that. All our cars, all our kitchens, girders, cables, greenhouses, all our civilization being mashed up. It's the apocalypse.
Back in the 1800s, dust yards lined the river. Women and children did the dirty, dangerous job of hand-sifting piles of toxic coal ash for raw materials that could be sold on to the brick-making and fertiliser industries. Today, this vast Riverside scrapyard tells a more contemporary recycling story on an epic scale. 300 tonnes of scrap are processed here every day, much of which is transported down the Thames by barge, cheaply and in bulk, to Tilbury docks. Unwanted cars are one of the most important items they save from landfill, with a massive 1.4 million of them reaching the end of the road every year. Their final journey starts with a weigh-in, and it's Sophie's job to work out what each car's worth.
Our prices are based on the weight of the vehicle, the metal content and that.
How many cars do you get through a day, do you think?
Normally on average about 2 to 3 a day, depending on the day. Every day's different. It can go up to about 10 or 11.
And after a car's been weighed...
It'll go over to the LV.
What's that mean?
ELV stands for end-of-life vehicles. So we take out all hazardous waste from it, as in oils, engines, and we pop the airbags and things like anything that could be a hazard to our guys.
And that's just down there?
That's just down there.
Do you reckon I could go and have a look?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool, I think I can hear some metal being moved around already.
Before a car can go to the great scrap heap in the sky, there are hazards to be dealt with. Because inside every modern vehicle are dangerous explosives in the form of its airbags, and it's Jack's job to deal with them.
From here we just plug it into here and that will tell us where to go.
The best way to make them safe? Blow them up, of course.
Move a safe distance away. You can then start to detonate the airbags.
OK.
You want to give it a go?
Yeah.
All right. So press and hold left-hand side.
1, 2, 3. Huh.
One go off.
Hey, that was a nice
Second one go off.
Boff!
She goes.
I got it.
And that's it. That's all done.
Oh, put a spring in my step, that did.
Next, all the chemicals have to be drained out.
Sean, give us a wave. Hiya.
It's a hazardous job, so I'm keeping a safe distance.
You're draining off all the liquids, right?
Just done the oil going onto the petrol.
What's that noise?
Air pressure. So it's sucking all the liquid through, goes all the way along the pipes along the back, and then it's into our storage tank.
You'd think all this would be unusable, but from brake fluid to antifreeze, all of it can be recycled.
With this petrol, the spike that goes up, and then you can see what fluids come out. We've got the catalytic converter here. So this is all to do with your emissions. This is probably one of the most expensive parts, ranging from £2 up till £400 plus.
So it's worth whipping out.
Most definitely, yeah.
Just as in the days of the dust yards, where there's muck, there's brass. But these days we all benefit.
How much of that car is going to be recycled?
95% gets recycled.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Everything what we can, even down to the dirt.
What do you mean?
We recycle the dirt. We'll build up our dirt, we'll lay it out, we'll go through a magnet, and it will be refined further and further until it comes out pure. Everything what can be recycled, we do recycle.
You hold on to that, mate. Don't lose it. That's worth a few, Bob.
No, I will.
You tuck that away.
Depollution done, it's time for the car to meet its maker.
This is the bit I've always wanted to see. That's where the murdered bloke in the car goes into the crusher and he comes out like a little cube.
OK, my imagination might be running a bit wild, but you've got to admit this feels just like one of those 1960s films about London gangsters.
I can just hear those ominous thumps. Hey! There it is. There's an arm sticking out. No, there isn't. Only kidding. Cool, it's got that real car smell about it. Isn't that wonderful?
Like the dust yards before it, this place is on the river for a reason. Once every last scrap of usable metal has been salvaged, it's loaded onto boats and sent off to the next step in its recycling journey. Richard's got just 2 hours to get this barge loaded before the tide turns.
It's a big old crane, isn't it?
It certainly is.
What kind of weight do you reckon it'll load the boat up with?
That will load approximately about 550 tonnes.
And what would a lorry carry?
Approximately about 23, 24 tonnes.
It's a massive difference.
It is, yes. We obviously were using the River Thames, so we can send all our scrap down the river, keeping lorries off the road, toll charges down, emissions down.
It's the same old story, isn't it? The Thames is your lifeblood.
It certainly is, yeah. We'd be lost without it.
And there she goes, heading down to Tilbury docks, from where the scrap will be exported all over the world to be melted down and made into shiny new metal.
The Thames offers us different ways of doing things, and that's what these guys have done, helping to make London cleaner and more sustainable.
As well as helping safeguard our future, the river also does a rather good job of preserving our past. I've travelled 119 miles upriver to a picturesque spot on the banks of the River Thames, a tributary of the Thames. I'm here to meet England's last professional ship carver, Andy Peters, who's been given the once-in-a-lifetime job of recreating Cutty Sark's figurehead.
Hiya, Andy.
Hi, Tony.
Beautiful workshops.
Yes, yeah, it's a nice location, tucked away, which is how I like it.
How long have you been a woodcarver?
Since I was 11.
What inspired you to get into it?
I've always been interested in boats. I was in the Sea Scouts, and one of the standard trips in those days was a trip to the Cutty Sark. As an 11-year-old, I went there and really was captured by the whole thing of tall ships and the carving that went with it.
How wonderful. The Cutty Sark inspired you, and now you've got this great commission.
I know, to think when I'm standing there at 11 that one day I'll be carving the figureheads. Yes.
Can I have a look at some of your work? Oh, wow. That hits you full in the face, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How beautiful is that?
There's lots of things to think about when designing them, that they won't interfere with the sailing of the ship.
Much of Andy's work is restoring historic figureheads.
She's from a British warship, HMS Satellite.
I love these on this table here. They really look quite eerie, don't they?
They do, yeah, a little heads collection.
Everywhere you look in this room, there's some amazing treasure.
But his original commissions are equally extraordinary.
I've got to keep looking at them. That's great.
Yeah, it's more contemporary.
Yeah, it almost looks like a Picasso, doesn't it? And this one you're still working on?
Yeah, so getting down to the detailed stage on this one.
I love that all the chippings are still here.
Yeah, it's like she's emerged from all this.
Once you know what you're going to carve, is it pretty straightforward?
With carving, you're reducing, where with clay, you're building up. So you have to have a pretty good image in your head of what you're reducing to.
Cutty Sark's current figurehead is a 1950s replica of the original. But it's almost 70 years old and it's beginning to rot. Recreating this 6-foot statuesque beauty requires painstaking prep.
This is the original drawing by Linton, the designer of the Cutty Sark. I then do a set of drawings which I then turn into a three-dimensional sculpture. So these are the same scale as the maquette.
Maquette, you call it?
Yes, yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know, it's probably French for small
little model.
The figurehead was inspired by the Robert Burns poem Tam O'Shanter. The poem features a rather saucy witch, Nanny, dressed only in a cutty sark, or skimpy nightie to you and me.
And are you going to have real hair like that?
The original story, the witch is grabbing a horse's tail.
What is the original story?
This chap was looking through the window of a church and saw these witches dancing. They caught sight of him, and one of the witches chased after him. Apparently, witches can't cross running water. So as his horse was leaping this brook, the witch just managed to grab hold of the tail of the horse. So it's indicating that the Cutty Sark was a very fast ship.
Andy's ready to start roughing out the basic outline, and he's offered to let me help. This calls for a practice run.
This is from a figurehead 1840s, so we can have a go at, or you can have a go at trying to replicate it.
Listen, I am so rubbish at woodwork. I was only allowed to do it for 1 year at school. I got 8 out of 100 and they wouldn't let me do it again after that, but I will certainly have a go.
OK. You can see that this is the top surface,
yeah.
So that's going to stay, and then we're going to reduce down. So
yeah.
The first thing you do is, it's called a stop cut. So we go around the edge of this, a bit off the line,
Why do you do it a bit off the line?
So that if it goes wrong, we've got a bit to play with. As you carve, it should stop at that cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Fancy having a go?
Yeah, have a go. There is something incredibly satisfying about doing this, isn't there? Well, I feel slightly more confident than I did a quarter of an hour ago. Are you ready to unleash me on the real thing?
I think we could risk it, yeah.
You were slightly thoughtful about that.
I don't think you do too much damage.
Is this it, or the basis of this?
This is it, yeah.
That's incredible.
So far, Andy's created a carving block made up of layers or laminates of wood that have been glued together.
What is this wood?
It's redwood pine from north of Sweden.
You have to be fussy about where you get the pine from.
Very much so, yes. The further north the tree grows, the less summer growth there is. It grows much slower, much tighter grain, which makes it better for carving, and it's also more resistant to weather as well.
I can see that this is going to be the arm, but
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it in the wood?
Well, it then narrows down to her waist. This is the bottom line of her dress. Then turns into a scroll, which has to pick up with decorations already on the front of the ship. This will become her flowing hair. You see a little bit there, which is front of her face, nose.
Do you reckon every dockyard down the Thames would have had its own ship carver?
Absolutely, yeah. It was a big industry.
It's an honour to be following in the footsteps of those generations of skilled craftsmen. Deep breaths.
Now, we're on the real thing here, so I'm going to be a bit more specific.
Yeah.
Keep it further out.
Okay, yeah.
You have to make sure that that edge of the chisel is out. Right, more from there.
Okay, yeah.
Towards the stop cut.
What part of the process is most challenging for you?
The faces. She's a witch, an annoyed witch, so so she's got to have some anger on her, but
Yeah.
in the story she's pretty, so it's getting that expression right, which would be a bit of a challenge.
Grumpy but good looking.
Yeah.
What do you think the schoolboy Andy would think about what you're doing now?
I think he would have been quite proud, yeah. My last school report was that I will go far when I realise there's more to life than sailing and carving.
It'll take Andy another 3 months of carving, then a month of careful painting before Nanny will at last be ready to take pride of place back on the Cutty Sark.
I think there's something quite exhilarating about watching a skilled craftsman creating something beautiful out of raw materials. But in the case of Andy and the Cutty Sark, it's very special, isn't it? This will be something that millions of people will see for maybe 100 years. And when they do, a few of those chisel marks will be mine.
Next,
What's behind all these big doors?
I discover how the Thames helps provide us with fruit all year round.
So they've had their shower, now they have their hair dried. Well, it's not really hair, but you know what I mean.
All along the Thames, you'll find evidence of our traditional trades and industries and our history. I've come to Kent and the Hoo Peninsula, which is sandwiched between the estuaries of the Thames and the River Medway. The peninsula's position marks the entrance to what's always been the nation's most important trade route, making it vital to defend against foreign invasion.
As an island nation, the threat of attack on us from our enemies has usually come from the sea. And the first conflict we know about that had its mark on Hoo was the extended period of hostility between the English and French in the 14th century.
So the locals built fortifications to protect the peninsula. But fast forward a few hundred years, and whose defences urgently needed an upgrade?
This rather dinky fort is called Slough Fort, and it was built by a very nervous British government in 1867 when we were having a row with the French.
Slough was just one of a chain of forts built in the 1860s, when France's developing artillery technology and expanding navy were putting the willies up the British military. To defend the Thames trade superhighway, Slough was kitted out with up-to-the-minute gear.
It sounds a bit mad, but it actually had guns that were not like this, but were two huge disappearing carriages. What that meant was that you would fire the cannon out to sea and then they would sink into gun pits. You would rapidly reload them and they would come up again and fire again. They were terrifying, really, really big, but also incredibly slow. They didn't stay in fashion for very long at all.
The French threat never materialised, and by 1914, Britain and France were allies, fighting together against Germany, and the fort was pressed into service as a command post.
After the First World War, it fell into disrepair. It picked up again as a defence structure in the Second World War, but no shot was ever fired here in anger and became a ruin again.
Thankfully, it's now being restored to remind us all of the Hoo Peninsula's vital role in defending the Thames. Moving 4 miles inland, I find a traditional Kentish industry that's thrived here since the 17th century: fruit farming. Warm air from the Thames estuary and the River Medway create a mild microclimate perfect for growing. And it's within easy reach of the capital too. So historically, the fruit could be transported by the river to London's burgeoning population. And today, judging by this epic orchard, the fruit business is still flourishing. Family firm Gotham's grow 1 in 4 of the British apples eaten in the UK.
Cool, Darren, you look more like an archaeologist than a tree grower with all the tech in the back of your car.
Darren's worked in the fruit trade for 32 years.
We use satellite mapping to actually tell us what's in the ground, so we know how good it is, what kind of tree would be the best kind of tree to plant on that site. It also tells us when we come to feed the trees, what areas need it, what areas don't. We've also got soil sensors in the ground which tells us when we need to actually irrigate and fertigate to keep the trees healthy.
Why are the trees so small?
Years ago, trees were much bigger rootstocks, so they grew very big trees.
Gorgeous, beautiful things.
They were. The problem with that is they grow a lot of wood. Now, what we're actually trying to do is maximise the amount of fruit that we grow. After all, that's the crop we want to pick.
So all those big branches just put energy into growing themselves rather than into
exactly.
fruit.
By doing it this way, we can prune the tree to let light in all the way down the tree, so that all the fruit colours at the same time, makes it easier for when we actually come to pick the crop.
It's a far cry from my idea of an orchard, which, let's face it, is probably a bit romantic.
The variety we're looking at now, Gala, is grown all over the world, so it's not just a variety that we sell, so we have to be competitive.
Apples used to be a seasonal treat, but now we've got used to having them all year round. Gotham's have to compete with suppliers from abroad, so they use the latest technology to make sure the apples they harvest in autumn stay fresh for months afterwards.
What's behind all these big doors?
Well, obviously we've seen where the fruit comes from in the orchard. This is where it ends up.
Wow! How many apples do you reckon there are in here?
Hundreds of thousands. Couldn't even put a figure on it. The key thing is, as soon as we get them from the orchard, get them as cold as we possibly can, as quickly as we can. Most apple varieties we keep at around about half of a degree. Obviously, that will only keep them for so long. If you want to keep them for very, very long-term storage, we have to change the conditions in the store. So we have to take out the oxygen from the store to slow down the respiration of the fruit completely.
This is the total opposite of my childhood experience of apples, which was about apples in your pockets, in paper bags, in satchels, some of them with worms in, some bruised, some have gone a bit bad, so you cut the bad bit away with a knife. Here, they're all perfect, they're all beautiful, and they're all scrutinised technologically all along the way. They're even put to sleep for months, like Sleeping Beauty, and then they're woken up again.
Today, a supermarket has put in an order for 86,000 packs. The apples need to be sorted, counted and wrapped, and it's nearly all done by technology, of course.
When the apples come out of their fridges, they're brought here, and you see those massive green robotic arms. They're snatched up, and then they're dunked down into the water, and then they're put on this conveyor belt and literally apple-bobbed all the way along here. It looks like Oxford Circus in the rush hour, doesn't it? And they're all queuing up so they can go up this escalator, because then they're out of the water. This is where people look at them and decide whether they're the right colour, the right shape, and all the apples they don't like go on that tiny little conveyor belt and are never seen again. But all the good ones continue along their way till they come to here. And this is my favourite part of the whole process, because here they stop being a whole crowd of apples and they're singled out to be individuals. Each one is put into a little cup so that it can have its photo taken, not just once, but 20 times. Carol, why do you have to take so many photographs of the apples?
Quite simply, the reason we take so many photographs is to actually tell the machinery here where to place the apples, making sure that the right coloured apples, the right size of apples actually go together.
So every time the screen changes, it's still just one apple.
Yep.
Thank you. That's not the end of the process, though. Here, when they've had their photograph taken, they carry on their travel before they go down one of these lanes. There's 36 of these lanes, and this is where they all get sorted out depending on what kind of package that they're going to go in. As you can see here, this is the great big queue of rosy red apples that are going to go into the 6 packs. But there's a really cute little lane up here. See these? These are the tiny apples that go into the children's packs. Then when they get to the end where those numbers are, they're literally sucked into a vortex of water, and when they come out of the other side, they're ready to be put into their packs. And this is the very final act of the show. Here is where they're given a final shower. Then they go all the way along here to this huge hairdryer. So they've had their shower, now they have their hair dried. Well, it's not really hair, but you know what I mean. And then they race along here. And what's happening here, Carol?
Basically, we're just doing like a real final visual check, just to make sure that all the fruit's absolutely perfect when it goes into the pack.
Yeah, yeah.
Go around
so
here,
this is actually the packing machine?
This is actually the packaging machine, yeah.
Wow.
All ready to go, ready to on sale.
Here they all are, boxed and packaged, ready for the shops. Perfectly grown, perfectly sweet, and perfectly perfect.
Thanks to cutting-edge tech, the rich, centuries-old Thameside soil now gives us English apples all year round. As a kid, I'd never have believed it was possible. Next, I get roped into making some of Cutty Sark's 11 miles of rigging.
My Fitbit's going off the scale this morning.
There's no better symbol of the way the Thames keeps our heritage alive than the Cutty Sark. Today, her extraordinary 11 miles of rigging looks exactly as it did in the 19th century, thanks to a remarkable business 35 miles downriver. Just look at the length of that building. Inside is one of the longest shop floors in the world.
Here in this dockyard is England's last traditional ropery. It's an enormous place, stretches right the way to the end of that alleyway, and it's been going since the middle of the 18th century. And still today there's a small team of people who use the old Victorian methods and the old Victorian machines to make rope for a whole bunch of commercial enterprises, including making the rigging for the Cutty Sark.
The ropery is part of Chatham Historic Dockyard Trust, where naval warships were once built and maintained. In its heyday, this place made thousands of miles of rope and employed hundreds of men. But today, just 3 staff are going to guide me through the process of making rope for the Cutty Sark.
These are amazing looking machines.
It all starts with yarn, which is threaded through these holes to stop it getting tangled.
And then after it's been through here, what's this called?
It's a forcing tube.
And it does what it says on the tin?
Yep.
It forces the threads into these strands?
Yep.
A cart will pull the strands the whole length of the workshop, twisting them as it goes.
So by the time we get to the other end, we'll have 3 twisted strands ready to be made into a rope?
That's correct.
Simple. How does a bloke at the other end know when to start pulling?
We signal using this bell line. And it will ring a bell at the very far end.
Are we ready to do it?
Yeah. So that's it, grab hold.
I can't hear a thing, but at the other end...
Yes.
This is still very much a working business, but it's open to the public too, as a kind of living museum.
I know there's only 3 of you now.
Yeah.
But back in the old days, there would have been loads of people, wouldn't there?
Yeah. So you're looking at between 150 to 200 men. So it'd be very noisy.
At the other end, the 3 strands are taken and attached to a new machine.
Yep.
And back we go.
Look, there's the rope being made. My Fitbit's going off the scale this morning. Bosh. We now have our 3-strand rope.
All 280 metres of it.
And a pair of aching feet.
But there's no rest for the wicked. I'm back in Greenwich.
On deck.
To rejoin the crew on board the Cutty Sark and see how new rope from the Chatham Ropery is used to maintain her authentic rigging.
What are you up to?
We're going to splice an eye in the halyard for the inner jib.
I don't understand any of those words.
Right, OK. That's the old one.
Yeah.
This is a little bit tired now, so we've got to take that bit out and put a new one in.
So basically, this splicing is an elaborate form of knot in this particular case.
It is. It's like weaving. You've got your 3 strands, and all you're doing is going over and under and over and under and over and under. There's our splice with a bit of a barge taper on it, we call it.
So all right, we're sitting comfortably on the deck doing this, but do you have to splice up there?
Yes, yes.
And presumably they would have done that at sea.
Yeah. You've got stories of clippers like this would be, they'd have sails blown out of them in storms. They'd have topmasts and topgallant masts blown out of them, and you'd have seamen aloft re-splicing it.
Cutty Sark's state-of-the-art rigging controlled 32,000 square feet of sail, and that helped her achieve record-breaking speeds on the Australian wool run. Today, Chris is manning the ropes.
So what does this little rack do?
So these ones here control the sails that are on the mizzenmast here.
Yeah.
And if you want to let this rope off here.
Yeah.
Just undo the figures of 8s.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And now if you pull on that,
yeah,
with all your might. If you look behind you, you can see the yards moving.
Which one? Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. Blimey. Now I know why the verb is to haul. It really is hauling, isn't it?
There we go, and you brace round hard there.
Hey, oh, blimey, it's heavy, isn't it?
Yep, that's it. Perfect.
Not all the rigging's made from synthetic fibres. Some of Cutty Sark's ropes are actually steel, a cutting-edge material for the time, and need a special kind of maintenance.
You may wonder why I've got this full boiler suit on. Well, it's because that is dripping with tar. That's it. So what do I have to do?
Okay. So all of this is steel wire.
Yeah.
And the last thing we want that to do is rust. So we treat it with the Stockholm tar.
Yeah.
So we literally, as the others are, rag it on. There we go, and you see it go all nice and shiny where it is.
My shipmates are young apprentices who one day will take up the baton of looking after this slice of our heritage.
Maddie, we know each other, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
I gave her an archaeology award when she was a little girl.
I think I was about 13 in York.
And now you've ended up
Yeah.
putting oily tar on the rigging of ships.
I like to think it's still a little bit linked to archaeology. It's great fun.
What do I do when my rag runs out of oil?
Well, you'd simply apply a little bit more and keep on tarring.
Oh, from my little thing. I'm not quite sure how you do this. Right, hang on. I'm going to leave my rag here. Oh, you do it expertly. Oh, lovely stuff. Well, that's a pretty sticky way to end the day. But having met all the young people who work here and having seen their dedication, I've got to say that I'm quite confident that the Cutty Sark will be in pretty good hands for some years to come yet.
And I'm sure that the Thames will continue to play a role in helping the best of our past survive and thrive. Next time,
it's like a floating Battersea power station.
I try the cut and thrust of the market.
You got to take 6 at a time, Tony.
He only gave me 3.
You better stick to that acting game, I tell you.
Meet an aspiring Paralympic rower.
Get set.
Go. And win the oldest man in the yard contest.
How old are you?
72.
I'm 73.
Oh, well, I'll bend down there.
Yeah.